Hi everybody out there, Mike here with you guys once again, and I told you on a past video that I had something that I was planning to talk about for a while, and well, I'm finally ready to talk about it. It's an idea that I have had for quite some time. I've had it, I don't know how long, but for a very long time, and that is a video game theme park. Now, some of you might have heard of something called Gamer Nation, and that's what they say they're trying to do. But I actually had a similar idea, not the same way that they're doing it, but I had an idea a while back before I even heard about Gamer Nation, and I was really excited when I found out about it. But my idea was to do to video games what Universal Studios did for movies. So imagine, what if you could visit the Citadel, or what if you could go to Rapture, or Columbia, or Tamriel? So I'm like, why not? So I came up with several ideas for attractions for a video game theme park. So I hope you guys enjoy it. Here are some of my ideas. A Mass Effect attraction. Now the Mass Effect attraction I have is similar to an Epcot attraction. Now one more thing before I go into this, I will be making references to existing or past existing attractions in theme parks. So if you're not familiar with theme parks, either look up the references I mentioned, because otherwise you might get lost, because I am terrible at explaining ideas. I'm terrible at articulation, as you know, and so just bear with me. Hopefully you guys will know what I'm talking about. Hopefully there'll be theme park fans who are also gamers, and if not, just look up the references I mentioned. So yeah, so first, Mass Effect. My idea for a Mass Effect theme attraction would be similar to that of an Epcot area. You know how in Future World they have certain areas that have multiple attractions in them, but they're all indoors? Do you remember the Wonders of Life Pavilion? And how it was this dome, and you went inside, and they had multiple attractions based on a particular theme. In that case, it was health and the human body. Or the land had, it was all indoors, but it has a bunch of attractions in it similar to that of the land. So, my idea for Mass Effect was to recreate the Citadel in that fashion. And not only could you just walk in, but if you want to, you could go Wild Arctic and ride a simulator, a shuttle simulator ride, which is just a movie that you move, and you're inside this box and you move around while the movie plays too. And that would be a shuttle ride to the Citadel, and it would be like a few minutes long, a little thrill ride to get you from Earth to the Citadel. And once you're there, or if you just want to walk inside the Citadel and skip the ride altogether, you can. You will see audio animatronics and people in costumes of all these different aliens, and you get to interact with them and talk with them. Some of them will be working in booths and all that sort of thing, and you basically be inside the Citadel. Now, inside the Citadel, I would have a tram ride. You know in Tomorrowland how they have the tram ride that goes around the area? Tomorrowland at Disney, Magic Kingdom and Disneyland. Well, I would have something like that. It's basically a tour of the Citadel. Very tame experience for people who don't want to thrill seek. But the main attraction in the Mass Effect theme area would be similar to Mission to Mars at Epcot, or Mars, I think it's called Mission to Mars at Epcot. And what it is you go inside the Normandy, and you go how the Normandy Bridge is, how wide it is, and on one side and the other, they have these seats. Well, that's where you would sit down in, and Commander Shepard would issue orders. You'd all be numbered, say 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, 6, 7, 8 on the other side. And number 1, hit this button. Number 5, hit that button. And it would be this high-tech, thrilling simulator, and it's the same mechanic that Mission to Mars uses. When you ride Mission to Mars at Epcot, you're told to hit certain buttons at certain points, and it's this thrilling, really intense simulator. And that's what I would do with the main attraction, the Normandy, at the Mass Effect area. That would be the main attraction there. Also, in true Mass Effect spirit, you get the option of choosing if you want your Commander Shepard to be male or female when going on that ride. And it's the only time you get to encounter Commander Shepard in the Mass Effect area. So there we go. That's Mass Effect. Next up, BioShock. Now, I have two different themed attractions for this. One is Columbia, and it would be really difficult to do because I would really want to have it outside, but I want you to think you're in the clouds when you're there. Like you're actually in the city in the clouds, but still be outside, which I don't know how that would be done, but that would be awesome. So, so yeah, you have the shopping experience, the restaurant experience. You get to play those little games like you do in the beginning of BioShock Infinite. But the main attraction there would be a huge roller coaster and it would be suspended like you're riding on the skyline, and you're soaring through Columbia, and all while escaping the Songbird, trying to escape Songbird, and he's coming after you. I have no idea. I don't think the technology exists to make something like this, but if it were possible to make something like this a reality, it would be amazing. Most people would probably want to make it a simulator and put it indoors, but I would love it to be a real roller coaster outside and have it look like you're in the city in the skies being chased by Songbird. That would be amazing. The other idea I have is, of course, Rapture. Now, Rapture would basically be a combination of a haunted house and an aquarium. If SeaWorld had haunted houses, that would be the basics for it, but of course it would be much more grand. And the reason... Now, I have this listed also in my Halloween themes exhibits, like annual Halloween attractions, but I feel like Rapture is so detailed that it has to be a full-time attraction. Because although you're basically being chased around by splicers, just the entrance alone, because I would have it set up to where you go inside the lighthouse, and you're waiting in this line in the lighthouse, and then and the way to get to the attraction is to briefly go down that bathysphere, and you see, and how it would be done would be the video of Andrew Ryan would block the illusion, would block what's really going on, and all it is your bathysphere is going to a different room, and what happens is you see the Andrew Ryan video, and then it cuts away, but you see a movie screen that looks like that is the exact footage of you traveling to Rapture. So you're basically reliving the openings of the game. So yeah, that's that. Next up is Elder Scrolls Tidal Wave. You know the Tanganyika Tidal Wave, the Jurassic Park's River Adventure, where you ride down a relaxing boat ride, but then you head towards the hill, and then you get this huge drop, and this huge wave soaks you and soaks people who are on the bridge. Same thing here, but Elder Scrolls theme. So you basically get to go through several areas of Tamriel, and it's relaxing. You hear music from the Elder Scrolls. Then you go into this dark room where you go up, 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 just like in the Jurassic Park ride. And then you start things like Oblivion. You start to see the dark tunnels and some of the scarier creatures. And then right when you're about to drop, you know how the T-Rex shows up at the end of Jurassic Park in the ride? Instead, it's a dragon, and he breathes fire, and once he breathes fire, your boat comes down, and the menu theme from Skyrim, you hear that, and you're just having fun. And so yeah, that would be my Elder Scrolls ride. And if you want, maybe even have it to where you could walk through certain parts of Tamriel, instead of if you don't want to go on that on that ride. This is going to be more than one part, I already can tell you that right now. Next up is Claptrap's Conversation. I really don't have a real official name for this yet, but basically it's like Turtle talking to Crush from Finding Nemo. That attraction at Disney where you get to talk to Crush from Finding Nemo? It's that, but with Claptrap. Yeah, that's the gist of that. And next up is the Uncharted Stunt Show. Same as the Indiana Jones Stunt Show, but with Uncharted. And next up is a Halo dark ride, and Halo would basically be, a dark ride where you board a warthog, and there's an audio animatronic figure of Master Chief in the back, and you hear Cortana's voice over the speakers, and they're protecting you as you go from one room to the next, filled with Covenant and Flood and all of that, or Prometheans if you want to go with Halo 4. I would try to incorporate all three in it somehow. Next up is Call of Duty, and it would be a laser tag experience. Basically, what the Call of Duty attraction would be is a really high-tech laser tag, and what it does is essentially make multiplayer real life. Like, you would hear a voice saying, we're losing or we're winning, that type of thing. And basically, it's a multiplayer match, similar to laser tag, but it's you actually running around in a map in real life, shooting people, and you have, and like laser tag, there's a thing on your chest or somewhere. There's something that tells you how many times you've been shot and how many people that you've shot, and that would be like your kill death ratio. And the good news is because it's reality and it's a real life map, but you're inside. You don't have to wait to respawn. You don't have to worry about respawning. You just keep going until your timer's up. So that's basically it. It's a simple idea, but a very high-tech version of it. Next up would be Gears of War, and it would be a cross between a dark ride and a simulator where you go from one room to the next, but some of the rooms have movies in them. And it would be glasses-free 3D. Why glasses-free? Because if the 3DS can do it, why can't a theme park attraction? Same thing with augmented reality. I think we ought to use augmented reality. I think the Mass Effect attraction in particular could really benefit from augmented reality and on a grand scale, because if the Vita can do that, so can theme parks. Anyways, back to the... So yeah, Gears of War would be similar to the Spider-Man ride or the Transformers ride. Cross between dark ride and simulator. And basically, it's like... And it would simulate you flying on some of the cog ships. And you get to shoot at the... and the movie screens would be basically game screens. Glasses-free 3D game screens. So you get to actually shoot at your enemies. So you're actually participating. Where in Halo, you're being rescued and you're just riding along the Warthog. In Gears of War, you get to do the shooting along with the cogs. Next up is a That Game Company ride. And basically, it would be a condensed version of Flower or Journey. You would have the option to experience either one, and it would be similar to the attraction Soarin', which is at Epcot and in Florida, and in Disney's other theme park in California that's not Disneyland. Huge movie screen that surrounds you, and you're just floating along, just like on Soarin' at Epcot. You know, again, look up these rides if you don't know what I'm talking about. That way you'll get an idea of where I'm coming from with this. So yeah. Journey and Flower rides. Next up is the video game parade. That's simple video game characters in a parade. You know, floats based on gaming characters and all that. And next up is a God of War nighttime show. And it would be similar to some of the older Disney nighttime shows they had, where you would see, you know, animated clips, you know, coming from the water. Stuff like that. It would be this huge, high-tech epic battle between Kratos and his enemies at night, and it would be a huge, spectacular thing. Not sure if it's doable, but hey, I can dream. Titanfall, a Titanfall ride, and the concept would be similar to would be basically a simulator / virtual reality / game. You get to go inside of a Titan, and there's this movie screen inside, and you shoot and move your Titan around, and it's basically a high-tech video game that is also that incorporates virtual reality and simulator. So basically, you get inside of a Titan, and there's a movie screen in it, and the Titan moves around in the movie screen. And the movie screen happens to be a high-tech video game that operates based on your hand motions of your robot. Yeah, Titanfall, the ride. Portal Funhouse. And what it is a group of people. They go from one room to the next, and they have to figure out how to get out of each room. And while that's going on, they're getting entertained by both GLaDOS and Wheatley. So it's basically like a interactive high-tech funhouse, one room to the next. It's kind of a show / funhouse, you know, and you have to figure out how to get out of each room, all while being entertained by two of the greatest robots in gaming. I'm going to cut it off here. This will be a more than one-parter, so stay tuned for part 2 of my video game theme park. I got more attractions and ideas to discuss.